Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment, and you've joined me here today. It's been a lovely afternoon actually, getting on towards sort of the end of May, and it's been quite warm, quite sunny, everything's growing, yeah, been thoroughly enjoyable actually. Also picked some things, we're getting to that time now where things are starting to be harvestable, so always an exciting time of the year when we get the first broad beans. So we've got some here, you'll see those. I've picked them quite small, but they can get a bit bigger than this, but I've picked them quite small because they're lovely when they're like this, sort of juicy, sweet. So very much looking forward to having those over the weekend. But while that's all very interesting, I'm sure most of you didn't tune in to hear about that, although I know some of you do like it, to see what we're doing here at the allotment. But you of course tuned in to hear about some whiskey. So what is the Allotment Dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it is an English whiskey actually, and it is the FIELDEN rye. So FIELDEN is a fairly new brand. This is the core expression which launched the brand and its range in May last year, so literally almost exactly a year old. And what does FIELDEN mean? Well, it means of the field in Old English. And what's really interesting about the brand is that they're using regenerative farming to grow all their cereals. So here they mix different heritage varieties of cereals and plant them in a sort of natural field. So they actually have a covering of clover which acts as like a natural sort of binder in the soil, so it keeps all the nutrients in, and it also acts as a natural fertilizer as well. So they then sow these different cereals, so a mix of rye, wheat and barley, and it all grows together. So they also use no chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, and this all helps to maintain the fertility of the soil and also the structure of the soil. So all these things kind of bolted together, and basically it's like the old style of farming that hasn't been sort of particularly commercially viable or commercially practiced for many sort of decades, really. So yeah, fascinating sort of backgrounds behind the brand. And these cereals are grown by specific farmers sort of all over the country, specifically for FIELDEN. So with this whiskey they then obviously make the spirit. This has been in two types of cask. So it's been in virgin American oak and ex-bourbon as well, and then it goes into some of the spirit goes into a selection of different dessert casks as well, so dessert wine casks, sorry. These include things like Sauterne from France, you've got Moscatel from Italy, you've got Madeira from Madeira, Portuguese island. Lovely sort of mix, of these heritage cereals with this regenerative farming. And we've been looking quite a lot into this, obviously with our interest in the allotments, and seeing if we can do something like that here. I mean, we already don't use any pesticides and fertilizers and things, but looking at how to maintain soil structure and the nutrients within the soil a bit better is something we've become really quite fascinated in. So this really sort of, with FIELDEN, it really sort of strikes something with us. So very interesting. This, as I say, is the core product, the FIELDEN rye whiskey. But as I say, it's predominantly rye, but there is some wheat and some barley in here as well. And as I say as well, they grow it all in the same field, so it's not like they have one field of rye, one field of wheat and one field of barley. They actually sow it all together in the percentage that they want to make their spirit. So again, another very old school sort of farming technique there. And this sits alongside several limited editions that they've put out since they launched the brand about a year ago. So This is the one that's sort of readily available. So it's 48% and will cost you around the 60 to 65 pound mark. Depends on where you shop, of course. But I think probably without further ado, we should have a taste, shouldn't we? And see what we've got. So we actually use this, you'll see quite a bit of it is gone. We use this for an English whiskey tasting for St George's Day a few weeks ago. So yeah, let's have a look. Oh, look at that lovely deep sort of coppery amber colour. Just pop that back on there. So a nice packaging as well, I have to say. I don't know if you can see it here, but in this sort of circular design, you've got the line here which represents the soil line. So everything, there's like a sort of relief almost of everything that's happening above the soil, and then below in the slightly darker colour there is everything that's happening below the soil. So yeah, really, really nice, very sort of subtle, very elegant design actually. But anyway, as you can see, I digress fairly consistently, so let's have a look, let's have a smell. Gosh, it's really aromatic. We've got some apple and pear there. You know, this sort of green apple, green pear, which you get with relatively youngish whiskies. There's also some white chocolate and a little bit of sort of peppery, herbal sort of nature there. It's like a hint of sort of menthol or eucalyptus. Some mocha as well, actually. You know, a bit of chocolate, a bit of coffee combined in sort of milky way to have a sort of mocha sort of vibe. Then a little hint of spice and maybe just a tiny bit of, yeah, sort of orange peel or something, like a bitter orange. Really enticing. So let's have a taste. It's really delicious, quite luscious, gripping. You've got, look, definitely there was a hint of the orange. It's bitter orange on the nose, but now it's coming through. Quite fruity as well. You've got like a maraschino cherry, you know, those really good like cocktail cherries. Some heather honey as well, sort of honey, maybe a little bit of golden syrup in there. Yeah, really, really nice. Kind of makes you smile a little bit, actually. Yeah, very good. Then is starting to get some warming, sort of woody spices here. You know, a little bit of cinnamon in there. I think let's have another taste. The second, now I'm tuned in a little bit. It's more the heather honey. There's a bit of caramel, something like malty underneath, like a malty biscuit as well. A bit of brown sugar. Just sort of layering all these things sort of on top. In fact, now I'm getting a bit of extra fruitiness. We had the orange, the sort of peel of the orange. We had that sort of maraschino cocktail cherry before. Now I'm getting a bit of like really juicy sort of apricot just sitting in the back, you know, almost like overripe apricot. Yeah, then the finish is quite long, quite peppery, quite spicy, bit of the oakiness. You've got some clove, you've got some sort of aniseed, maybe like star anise, something like that. And then this sort of mentholy eucalyptus sort of finish. Yeah, very, very good. I think they've done a very nice job with that. Really, really impressed with what FIELDEN are doing. You know, we're sort of big fans. We just went to Chelsea Flower Show is on this week. You know, very sort of world famous horticultural show, and FIELDEN have a stand with Kent Wildflower Seeds. They've done, Kent Wildflower Seeds have done the main display, and have actually done a their whole thing is to reintroduce like British wildflowers that have, you know, sort of died out or are struggling, you know, with the sort of destruction of natural meadows. So FIELDEN have teamed up with them, so well worth checking out if you're in the UK and you fancy like growing some native wildflowers. But yeah, so we went there to the stands, had a couple of cocktails, a very nice evening actually, at Chelsea Flower Show, having never been before, but yeah, it just sort of enhanced our thought that, you know, what FIELDEN have done, very nice job, and yeah, check it out. You know, one of the sort of nicer English whiskies that we've had, to be honest. So I think that's probably it. Without much else to say, you know, probably leave you to get on with doing what you were doing before you found this video. You know, from myself and the FIELDEN rye whiskey here, we will bid you farewell. We're getting with a few more jobs before we head off home on this lovely day, and hopefully see you again very soon for another Allotment Dram. Cheers.